We will be jumping back into Medieval Dynasty shortly. However, I did want to go over some of the new patches that they have, as well as the new content. We're going to start from early July. As you can see, the developers are very active. Not only is Medieval Dynasty fully released, but they're constantly updating, putting new patches, as well as adding new content. If you haven't seen the new roadmap, I suggest having a quick look there. They're constantly updating the effects, the amounts, the productivity. So I generally don't like to cover content that is relating to the exact amount or the production rate, as it is always changing. So I noticed this the last time I was in Medieval Dynasty. They have seasonal and annual options for when you're building, as well as you've got new songs, and they've got extra ambient sounds, because if you haven't played Medieval Dynasty yet, Medieval Dynasty is, quite frankly, a little bit dead outside of your village. And even if you're inside your own village and building it up, just small sounds or day-to-day things aren't there. And so it's great to see that they're just adding music, upgrading the NPCs, and just making them more active in the community. Another thing is they're always adjusting the prices of all the items in the game. So again, I don't like to talk about the amount of what something is going to cost because of that. One of the newest things that some people were excited about is the interior lighting in production buildings. Again, it just adds the aesthetic to the game. And let's not forget that the crossplay is now available. So if you're on PC, console, it doesn't really matter. You should be able to play together. Up to 4 people are able to join a game in Oxbow. And yes, to the people who are asking whether the Oxbow and the Valley map, if they have the same mechanics within the game, that works just the same. And this is the new roadmap that they've added. Even though they're out of early access, they still have plans in the future, including potentially next year, to add more to the game. So obviously for those of us on Steam, we did have the co-op update last year. Those that are playing on consoles and other platforms, you are now getting the same content. And what's been added for the future at the moment: armors, crests, shields, and more. I'm assuming they're going to work on the aesthetic of your player, as well as potentially the bandits, as well as I'm hoping that when they say "and more," that the bandits get more interesting, more active, potentially more aggressive as well, because they're quite predictable and not much of a threat when you're wandering around. They have done a few tweaks on the UI. I have noticed while playing, there are a few icons that are new, in the way that you can tick the task that you want. You can no longer adjust the intensity per task. You simply tell them, I want you to get this and this, and I think everything else is automated. And lastly, the biggest update has been the platforms. So we have a final main quest in Oxbow, a new intro for the Oxbow map. We've got a band appearing in taverns, seasonal management of production and trade. I've had a play around with this, and this does come in handy, as some of the items that you do gather are seasonal. So it's a bit of a waste of time to allocate time or production to something that they cannot actually get. And again, the big one is the platforms, footbridges, bridges, and piers. This is a mid to late game item, as the lowest platform that you can purchase or use your technology for is about 2,500 points, and so that is a lot to get. We've got the customization of furniture and houses. Again, a new addition. You can customize the furniture in the houses for particular people, make it feel a little bit different in each house that you visit. We've got the hand lantern, a new item. We've got other players' visible markers, which is great. I did have issues seeing my friends where they were on the map, and I had to look at my compass. We've got new emotes, and the notification when someone is trying to skip the day a season is visible to everyone. This was a minor annoyance because I was playing in the same room, or we did have microphones and we were talking to each other, so I would tell someone, when do you want to go to bed? Do you want to skip the day? Do you want to skip the night? So it's good that you actually get a notification. Then we've got new voice dialogues and chatters for NPCs, just adding to the world a little bit more world building, adding a little bit more ambience. You don't have sort of that dead sound. When I first started playing Medieval Dynasty, it was quite dead. There was no chatter, there was no ambient sounds, there was no music. It was like the world was a little bit bland. And then for those that have just sort of joined us in the past month or so on the Oxbow map, you've obviously been added to everything that Steam has had for the past few months or half a year, as well as all the new content like the platforms that has just been added to the Steam players. It is exciting to see that they are still adding new content. They're making fixes, they're making updates. It's an overall good sign that Medieval Dynasty is going to continue to be a good game. However, there is one thing that still annoys me, but they really need to add a global demand and production tab just so you can see the overall village on what's going in and out, what productions you have going on one page. I do enjoy the new content that they've added, and I'm looking forward to the new stuff that's going to be coming out later this year and to see what else they're going to add to this roadmap. So for those that have just joined or started playing Medieval Dynasty, don't give up just yet. If it's not quite up to par, it's getting there. They're always adding new things. It's just going to get better and better. Thanks for tuning in. I hope to see you in the next one.